girl, Jasmine. Welcome back to It's Me Unlocked, and I'm here with my co-host.
I'm the man with the butter voice, the number one choice to keep all the ladies moist, DJ Just the Facts. And today we are going to start off remembering a great actor, Michael K. Williams.
I know, I was just watching him in Lovecraft Country.
Okay.
I don't know if you had a chance to see that, but it was
not.
epic. It was on HBO. A lot of the main cast members were African American. It was a huge show, and it had great numbers, and they somehow decided not to renew it again. I'm not sure why that was, but when he popped up, I was like, wait, I know this guy. And the first thing that came to mind was I did think Belly. I thought he was in the first Belly, but you just told me
he was in the second Belly, which was not as good as the first one.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't remember it, but I remember that. I remember that face. Yeah, it's sad to see that like the opioid epidemic is just taking so many, not even just famous people and artists and stuff, but I know tons of kids in my hometown in Massachusetts, like follow them on Facebook, and I swear the past like 10 years, I'm always seeing somebody's either like 30 days sober or talking about them relapsing or somebody died. And it's just, it's insane, like how much this is like affecting everybody in the U.S. I don't really think it's a worldwide thing. I think it's maybe just us.
Well, no, look, a lot of it comes from Mexico. The heroin in Mexico is laced with fentanyl. And so fentanyl is an elephant tranquilizer. And they can lace it in heroin, but they can also lace it in cocaine. And I think there were some recent deaths, comedians here in LA that died from sniffing cocaine that was laced with fentanyl. Fentanyl's no joke. You can, like I said, it's an elephant tranquilizer. You could choke on your tongue. I've seen it.
Oh my God!
People choke on their tongue in their sleep from fentanyl, and I wanted to. I made a list as a couple people, some famous people who died from fentanyl laced products. Prince, who is amazing.
Yeah.
Mac Miller, amazing. Shock G, who put the satin on your panties. Tom Petty, DMX, Juice WRLD. And incidentally, Old Dirty Bastard, who he played.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize that his was that as well.
Yeah, well, ODB just did a whole lot of stuff. He took anything and everything. But ODB, who he played, Michael K. Williams played him in some portrayal, I think it was called Dirty White Boy, the movie.
Oh,
but he played Old Dirty.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And it came full circle.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's unfortunate.
But I remember him from the R. Kelly videos when R. Kelly was trapped in the closet and he was the cop in the video.
That was it. Yeah, when I saw his face, immediately it was just like a familiar face, like almost like somebody that I'd like seen a lot in school or something. I was like, I know this man. And I was just like, oh shit, I looked him up and I was shocked. But yeah, it's real unfortunate. So many people I know, like, especially because of the industry I'm in, I know so many people that dabble in like drugs, and this fly is going to be the death of me, that dabble in drugs. But I didn't even realize that fentanyl is in ecstasy as well. Because I had an older gentleman, he's like, people in your age frame, you guys do the Molly, but ecstasy is where it's at. That's what we did in my day. He's like, I still do it now. And I was like, I heard there was fentanyl in that. He goes, yeah, just a little bit though, but I'm fine. And I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, the ecstasies are like a smorgasbord of everything. They just kind of push it all into one little pill. It's wild. Speed and...
oh wow.
Yeah, they mix everything in there. It's crazy. I've never tried it, but I know what they do.
Well, even things that obviously, speaking on those comedians that just overdose, they were taking cocaine that was laced with fentanyl because usually cocaine doesn't have it. So yeah, you have to. I mean, people are gonna do drugs. Like that's just But try your best to be safe. Know your fucking dealer. Don't try your best to be safe. Don't be just getting it from random people because this shit is real dangerous. And I think a lot of especially because this is affecting a large amount of like the white community, I think a lot of the police, like the more bigger the name keeps falling from this, they're going to start really going hard after the dealers that are thinking it's okay to add this in because it gets them addicted or whatever. It's almost giving me the crack pandemic vibes, except is affecting more of the white community, because in Mass, where I'm from, a ton of my white relatives and friends are the ones that are more so addicted to it, which is just unfortunate. So I think, yeah, you're going to see a whole lot of people coming down. I did hear about, I forget what state it was. It's somewhere on the East Coast, I think. Or maybe it was like Michigan. They were, because so many people were addicted to like opiates, doctors were just writing out so many prescriptions, they had to actually settle a lawsuit in that state, because doctors were just like, here. I'm like, why would you be handing out something that's as addictive as heroin?
Well, that's what Oxycontin is. It's a synthetic heroin.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm sorry. Even if I get surgery, I'm gonna be like, I'm all set. Where's the Tylenol? I'll take the ibuprofen. Like, I don't have an addictive personality, but you do not have to have an addictive personality to get addicted to something with like fentanyl in it. And that's what people need to understand too. So don't be jumping on heroin, meth, and all these things.
Don't do it, kids.
Like, I don't have an addictive personality. No, one time and you either be dead or addicted to it. And it's just not, it's not worth it in the long run. Especially like I'm really into astrology. I'm always saying like my Pluto and Scorpio generation, we like to like do things that take us to the other side. Stay away from the fentanyl, people. It's really going to take you to the other side.
Yeah.
And you ain't ready to go there yet.
Yeah, that hit close to home for me, too, because I had a friend, he was a great catcher. And so in baseball, if you can throw to somebody out at second base while you're on your knee, you can basically do anything, right? As a catcher. You could go pro if you can master those skills as a catcher. Catchers are hard to come by, great catchers. And so he could do that. And he had a scholarship, ready to go to college, and he was in Valencia and ready to go to college, but OD'd on some heroin that was laced with fentanyl, and he lost, and that's his wasted talent, wasted potential, and he was a friend of mine. We had done some music together too, because he dabbled a little bit in the music.
Oh, that sucks.
And Scotty went down, Mike went down, Prince, all these guys, man.
Yeah.
Take down the greatest minds. Tom Petty. Tom Petty's great. Shock G.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's unfortunate. Drugs are, it sucks, because fentanyl was actually created by the scientists, right? Started in the hospitals, then it trickled out into the streets, right?
Yeah, an elephant tranquilizer, and now, I mean.
But we're so worried about weed right now more than
yeah.
Like, you got the cops and everybody more worried about that than they are something that was made up by scientists and is killing people, and we're more worried about giving somebody that selling weed or has a little bit of it on them, giving them a lot of time for it. A lot of it's reduced, at least in California. In other states, it's no joke. Like in Nevada, it's no joke to be caught with weed. So that's the question. Really? The place where prostitution's okay?
Exactly.
They said weed's not?
It's ran by cowboys. It's ran by cowboys.
That's true.
But so that's the question. Why should weed be legal, or should it be? What do you think?
Obviously, weed is policed more because it's associated more with, African Americans, Black people. Period. I think that's why it gets such harsh sentencing. It's ridiculous when I hear stories about somebody with weed on them that or selling weed and they get like 20 years. Weed's not gonna kill anybody. Like, am I a big weed user? No. Like, it's not. It doesn't go with me. I start to spiral, but it's still not gonna kill me, even if I'm spiraling with anxiety. So yeah, I don't understand why we're still having this conversation in 2021. It's kind of unfortunate. I'm glad California's kind of caught up with the times. I think Colorado too, right?
Colorado was one of the first ones to go statewide.
Yeah. Oh, they're statewide.
Yeah, and California is too, but it's different counties have different rules, different punishments, etc.
Yeah.
But I did some research. The CDC reports 88,000 alcohol-related deaths a year, but that's just from ingestion. It's not even including alcohol accidents, like
like
on the
DUIs or
crashing.
DWIs. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then I looked up how many overdoses of weed there was. Zero. They said you'd have to smoke over 1,000 joints a day to overdose. On
Oh wow,
THC.
that's it. That's actually I was always curious. You have to legalize one drug. You can't have everything off the market. Back in the day when they tried to do that, the black market will always boom.
Yeah.
That's why you have that's why you have places like Amsterdam, like where everything's legal. It's so funny being there because the locals, they're not running up to grab weed and stuff. A lot of them don't even smoke because it's
readily
accessible.
available.
Like it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I think you take stuff away, and especially in America where everything is about work, 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 like no rest, no nothing. Like you're gonna have to give people some type of release. You're gonna have some type of drug that can make people feel like they're letting their hair down from this stressful, like, work yourself into your, like, in the grave type of mentality. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. You're gonna have to give people something. So alcohol became that thing that was allowed. Why? I don't know why they chose
so that they can make money off of it.
Yeah.
And that's what.
But I don't know. But they could have made money off of anything. I don't know why specifically they chose that one. But that I can't. I haven't really come to a conclusion about yet, or I don't have any ideas of. But
well, they had to. They had to legalize it so that they could profit. Otherwise, the gangsters were making the money off of the prohibition.
But weed, the gangsters and everybody else.
And that's why they're going to legalize it.
But not everywhere.
Right. But it's.
So that's what I mean. Why not? Why did they choose alcohol over everything else to make it fully? That's my point. You know what I mean? Everybody kind of came to that consensus. Maybe it's been around forever too, because I guess you go back in the day, people have been making wine
for a long time.
Yeah, but they try to get rid of it in the, when was Prohibition? 1920s.
In the 20s, yeah, Al Capone, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and then it boomed, and that's when all the speakeasies came up. So it's like, all right, fuck this shit.
Yeah, but if weed's safer, it should easily pass, but only until they can make some money off of it. And so they are making money. They're taxing here in California. They tax high for medical marijuana.
I think they would have to market it a certain way too. I think also the way weed has been kind of pushed, the stereotype of it makes people lazy. It makes people not give a fuck. They want to do what they want. They kind of market alcohol, and it's been marketed as the thing you use to let down after a long day, and this and that. And weed has such that stereotype of, and some people are highly functional on it. Do I think I could get to that point? Probably not. Like, if I do take a hit, I got to be in my house. It would make me more introverted. But, they show those commercials, like, I think it was, like, Dare, like,
I remember.
And then the person's on the couch, and, like, the lights go out, and the person's high, and they're like, oh, well. And, like, and then everything, they're like, oh, well, who cares? They're smoking their joint. So it has that, I think if more people started smoking, I think people's priorities would change. And I think that wouldn't be good. That makes how America is built, it makes them a little bit worried about that. If everybody was hitting weed, they might say, fuck you.
Yeah.
That could possibly be it.
They don't want that. They're uprising. Yeah. They don't want an uprising. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Everyone's like, you can't evict us all. let's just all sit together in the city. Yeah. So I think it could get to that. That would be funny. Maybe that'll happen in the future. I think you don't know anything about this, but we're moving into Age of Aquarius next. I think 2023 March, and it's going to be we all have our own placements for each generation. I'm a millennial, and our Pluto is in Scorpio.
I'm a millennial too, essentially, because I was born the first year.
Oh, no, it's like a 20-year thing. So
I am technically like the first year of millennials,
well,
but I don't think I fit into a lot of those molds that the stereotypes of the millennials. But
well,
I do know what the Age of Aquarius
those come from the baby boomers and shit. So don't be listening to those stereotypes, because a lot of my friends be like, my older friends, they'd be like, oh, those millennials. And I'm like, bitch, I'm a millennial. I'm one of your best friends. And then they're talking about their kids, which are Generation Z. I'm like, yo, their shit is in Sagittarius. But the age of Aquarius is coming up, and I'm super excited about that. That could be the generation of people that, all smoke weed and just all hold hands together and go fuck you. It very much could be.
Do you remember
I hope I'm alive for it, or I come back in time for it.
Do you remember the Fifth Dimension song, "The Age of Aquarius"?
No.
It's a great song, and,
okay,
and it is probably pro weed.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Maybe we can get that edited in. Age of Aquarius. Okay, so on that same topic, should prostitution be legalized?
It's the oldest fucking job in the world. If somebody wants to do it, and they're doing it safely, and they're getting checked, make sure their client's safe, then yeah, I feel like why not? For a long time, that was the only job women kept women. If you weren't of a certain caste system, you weren't kept. So if you were lower, the only job you could get if you didn't have a husband, if you were like in a lower caste, was prostitution. And now all of a sudden it's a problem. And that was when nobody had a choice. People were like, "Oh, I just gotta work. Here it is." If somebody's actually signing up and they're like, "I love this," okay, go ahead, do it. Make sure you protect yourself. Which, I mean, there's ways to regulate stuff. We do it in the sex industry too, where it's like, obviously people have to get tested, and if they have to get tested at a certain time before every show. I think it's like every 3 weeks. But if anybody comes up positive for anything, they shut down all sites. So there's just like a mass like messaging that goes out, and they have to like no more production happens until they trace everything, see who's the last person. And I mean, people would be kept a lot safer otherwise. I mean, people are fucking all the time, anyways. I mean, what do they think people are doing on Tinder? Like, that is a hookup site. Grindr. This is a hookup site. Maybe some of these people aren't getting paid, but they're randomly just fucking all day anyways. So what? They make, $150. You know what I mean? Like, let them do it.
Yeah. Hey, look.
What do you think?
To me personally, look, I'm pro choice of anything, right?
Yeah.
Figure out what you want to do it, right? I'm with that on all levels. Okay? And I support if that's really what you feel like you need to do, go ahead and do it. However, I think that if you legalize prostitution, you eliminate certain problems that come along with it. And I think if I was going to write a paper on it, I would say that the pimps are the problem, because the pimps don't pay them enough, and so they have to get on and they pay them with drugs. Okay, that's how the cycle's been. Now I think it's changing. I think the way it is now, but with pimps, the pimps are the ones who steal their money, get them addicted to drugs, and then they can't go on to have a future. So let's say they're in a state where that's all they can do, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they come over from Russia, and they don't speak English, and that's the field that they get in. Whatever. Okay, so.
But that's unhealthy shit too. That's where if somebody's being coerced or drugged to stay into something, to stay in a field, then that's a problem. That to me is not like legal prostitute. That is not somebody doing it at their free will. This is what they love. I know a few people who are escorts, they would call themselves, and they love that shit.
Now imagine if there was a union.
Businesswomen.
Imagine if there was a union, okay? A prostitute union. That's in a fictitious world. They have health care, maybe they have babysitting, and then the prostitutes could get out of the field. But as it is right now, because of the pimps, they can't get out of the field. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And so maybe if they legalize it, that they could make enough money, go to school, do whatever.
But I think we should label that something else. I think we should call that forced prostitution and not call it prostitution or escorting, because it's kind of like when people try to lump in the adult industry and the sex industry. I mean, the adult industry, I'm sorry, and the sex trafficking industry.
Oh, yeah, it's a whole different thing.
They're not the same. There's protocols and stuff like that. and even with the high end escorts that I do know, or even if they're lower and they're not, maybe they're the ones only charging $100, so I would maybe call them on the lower end. But if this is what they love to do and whatever, that's fine. But anything that it's not somebody like they feel like it's like their last resort and they're miserable and they have a pimp and they're forced and they're getting paid in drugs and stuff. That
happens more often than not. That happens a lot.
But let's call that something else. I think we need to change the rhetoric around that. And we're not even that's forced like sex work. That's like forced. That's abuse on a certain level. That you know what I mean. I'm not gonna.
And I think that's the problem. So if you legalize it, then you eliminate the pimps.
Yeah, but I think true. But I just think the rhetoric when we're talking about certain things needs to be different. Like I don't think we should even call that escorting because it's not. Like that's somebody being coerced into something.
It's tricking.
Yeah, and that we can eliminate. Yeah, that I'm like. I mean, some people want to pay, and if that's what you like, and he's taking care of you, and he's the main one dealing with the guy. But times have changed, and there's all these online platforms, and there's all these other ways for women to be in control. So and have a security guard with them, but a lot of them can be in control now. And also there's male escort. There was a show on HBO, and it was like five. I forget what it was called, but it was male escorts, and they were in Vegas. And
sweet, that sounds like an awesome job.
I gotta, you're like sign me up. I gotta remember the name, but they would actually, and they would film it. It was on what was that naughty HBO section? Was it just all on HBO? But it was just on at 3 a.m. But they would have these women and they would be filmed. These women in Vegas would be like, I just wanted a hot guy, and there was about maybe like 10 of them. And they would call this service, and these men would show up and fuck them. And great. I forget what, but they were working with a service, and they had a madame or whoever was in charge of them. But it was done in a professional way, and it was probably a woman that was managing them, and then she would reach out to the ladies and handle everything. Which probably works better in that situation, but
I think you could do that if you wanted to start a new career.
Oh God, I can't add that to my list. I've got to. It's already difficult enough. I don't need people calling me, telling me like I didn't get my orgasm. I already have to.
Oh yeah, imagine
deal with
HR.
Enough of the, yeah.
Imagine HR.
I'm like, ma'am, you cannot get a refund. I've only had 3 orgasms. He promised me 5. Like, look, that's the price. Period. But yeah, the ladies would call them for even dates. Like I need you to come with me tonight, and then I want you to fuck me, and I want you to act like this. So it was all God. Next time I'm gonna find the name and I'm gonna give them a shout out. I'm sure.
Yeah, find them and give them my resume.
You moving to Vegas? Because it's illegal in certain parts of Vegas. Obviously, that's why they were televising it. You cannot.
That's where Odom got in trouble.
Oh yeah. Oh, he said he was drugged there, but we all know Lamar did drugs. I mean, that was a big
party.
Yeah, and that was a big thing that I remember Chloe, she would kept that shit such a secret because, typical cancer shit. We get so embarrassed that we're just like, I can't look this pathetic, so let me just act like everything's fine. And because I'm a Cancer, so I can say that. And so she was like, my last birthday, when you guys were all like, what are you guys doing? And I'm like, me and Lamar are out. She was like, I couldn't find him. And then I ended up finding him in a hotel, and he was fucking a girl and doing crack or something, or crack cocaine. And I was like, oh, wow.
What a great evening for a professional athlete.
I know. So when he tried to say he was laced, I'm like, Lamar, don't act like you don't do drugs. Take some accountability. You were in there doing the drugs. You asked for the coke and the crack and the this and the that, and it probably had a little bit of something in there, okay? And you weren't. He's a big dude, but obviously, a little bit of something can take down anybody. I don't care how big you are.
And what a waste of talent too. I think he was 7'1", lefty, could dribble.
And usually when they're that tall, I heard when you
shouldn't be able to dribble the way that he was able to dribble.
That's what I was gonna say. There's a little bit of
big man. And he had the lefty's different too. When you're guarding, a lefty, it's a different ball game. You're not used to it. And he had a little hook. He had a little shot. He had it, but then threw it away on drugs and maybe prostitutes.
I think in his defense too, I think too his dad was a part of the crack pandemic, and so we pass that. I believe in passing energy down that's not healed. So he took those monsters kind of with him, and hopefully he didn't pass that shit to his kids, and he gets it together.
Well, maybe he had to have. Maybe he had to be on drugs to have sex with. That was Big Chloe then.
Oh, he's a Scorpio. He's a freak. They don't give a fuck. That's like Drake. Drake's like Libra Scorpio. He's got more of that Scorpio energy. He's a freak. He'll take it all down.
Oh, he's a Libra?
He's a Libra Scorpio. He's on the cusp. And he's definitely got that Scorpio energy when it comes to sexual shit. Because he likes them all. Like it doesn't matter. I don't know if I can say that about Libras. That y'all just like it all. But Drake will take them all. He'll be like, 400-pounder, don't matter. This person, she could be anorexic. This person could be this, that. Like Scorpios, like they don't care.
No. See, because I'm on the cusp of Virgo.
Oh God.
So I'm right at the beginning of Libra, and I can tell you, as a Libra man, we like beautiful things. We're artistic.
Yeah, I know, beautiful things.
And so we, but we also balance everything out. So I care about the soul. So
I don't know.
If somebody's got a good soul, I wouldn't be as superficial at all.
That was very smooth, but I don't know how much I believe that.
It's true. True story.
The soul will make you overlook your beautiful things.
The soul is the most important.
It'll make you overlook the beautiful things.
Love,
okay.
Love and soul, real.
Hold you to
That's
that.
what's real.
When I bring you a beautiful soul, I'm gonna see if you can overlook.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I connect with everybody on on every level.
Okay.
But if we keep going down this route, we might get canceled. So what's up with cancel culture? Good segue.
Oh God, I hate this term. I think this term was like coined by some older white guy that is really rich and did some crimes and now is paying for them. So he's calling it canceled. To be honest, people of color have been being canceled forever. They get arrested. All these things happen to them, and they don't ever get another chance.
Cat Williams.
You getting one slap on the wrist, losing an endorsement because you done said some offensive things. I've lost jobs for less. Okay, I've lost clients because people don't like me when I come into the room. I got half the room hating on me. I lose a client. This is what reality is, famous people. We all deal with this shit. You ain't special.
You're on the stage.
Maybe that's the thing. They thought they were special, but it's called consequences, right? Yeah. You're gonna have some. And it's about time that I think now that it's been affecting a lot of like powerful white men, they coined it as cancel culture. Like it's like, okay, they're being canceled now. So now it's like, oh my God, they're throwing people away. You've been throwing a lot of people away. There's a lot of people sitting in prison that were... I watched a show on Netflix, and it was like about this group of pro bono lawyers that were fighting to get people off of death row. And I mean, the amount of evidence that showed that these people were innocent, these motherfuckers are canceled. What do you mean? Like, go look at all that shit. So to me, it's like privileged people who are like loaded, who lose a few endorsements, and they're still rich on their island, boo-hooing because they're not popular anymore. And I'm like, suck my dick. I don't feel bad for you.
Like Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, The House of Cards was canceled.
Yeah.
But I think that was deserving. I do
too.
You're missing, people have their business. You're going to ruin their show because of your off-the-show antics.
Yeah.
And that's not right what he was doing.
And he paid them off, right? The people that he...
The kid, yeah. Well, what was crazy is I read that the kid's mom was well aware.
Oh, I bet. I mean, that's even how, like...
The mom was prostituting the kid out.
That's
really.
how, like, the kiddie sex trafficking even happens is because the parents are okay with it. It's like that guy that, supposedly hung himself in jail. In one of the... Epstein. In one of his... in one of the depositions, it was talking about twins that were brought to the island that were, like, 11. I mean, this is their family that gave them so they could get a payout. So a lot, I mean, it happened with R. Kelly. You know, these parents know about it. When people have fame and power, like the amount of worshiping that people do towards them and let them get away with shit, it's ridiculous. And to me, it's just accountability. You can't go, you know, people like to use like freedom of speech, but there's freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean that there's not consequences. That doesn't mean that this company, like, I have to work with you. Like, I don't. Like, you know what? You're representing a brand. You know how
you
lucky
tarnish the brand.
Yeah, and you know how lucky you are to be, how much of a privilege it is to be that famous and that successful, and your job is endorsements and just holding a can, and they're like, yeah, exactly. He got fucking canceled. Everybody was cheering that on that side.
He was great. He was a pitcher converted to a quarterback. Great. He was just like Mahomes on a lot of different levels, but because he stood up for the social injustices and the police brutality, then he was canceled. His job, because the bosses said, this is not good for my brand.
Because
this is not good for my image.
up, powerful white people whose families are connected to slavery and all that shit. The thing is with like people that are connected
money.
to that, well, they don't want to take accountability. You'll see those type of people taking accountability for anything else, but anything they're attached to or their family line or the image they try to paint of America, they're not going to make themselves look bad. So it's all deny, don't acknowledge, shame. And the fact that I see so many people jumping on the band, like especially I had so many of like, some of my friends like jumping on that bandwagon, like bashing him and not, you know, understanding like the injustices that have happened and still do happen in certain neighborhoods. Like, yeah, maybe they're not happening like where you live, but there are a lot of sundown countries. I mean, not countries. What do they call it? Counties? Mm-hmm. Okay. Like, so in like the South, there's certain areas that people of color can't drive through. Like this guy that I work with that lives in Texas. Well, I did business with him a long time ago. He lived in a small town, and this was
when you were met him. He was one of your.
Shut the fuck up. No, okay. This was somebody I know from the industry though. He works in he sells traffic, and we hit it off. We were talking a lot, and he was like, "You're so cool." Like he was like, "Where do you live?" And I told him LA, and then he was like, "I live in Texas." Like, and I was like, "Oh, I've never been. I've been wanting to come." And he was kind of drunk and was just like, "Oh my God, I would so invite you, but they would probably think in my neighborhood that we were hooking up and burn my house down." Yeah. And he was like, in my town, you cannot. He was like, I have to tell my daughters they went off to college, and I'm like, date whoever you want, but you know you cannot bring a person of color like back home with you here. It's just, he's like, my family has lived in this small town for generations. Like we own a few houses and still live there, and I'm just like, there's so much of that
it's ingrained in America culture, and I mean, you see it because look, if cancel culture was real, you'd have to cancel most of the police officers.
Exactly.
Think about that, you know. But okay, so is some of it unwarranted, like the Kevin Hart stuff? Is that unwarranted? Was that going back into his past?
No, it's not unwarranted. You know, when you do certain things, it's just being held accountable. So something comes up from your past that you did, and you put it on social media, which the internet, it's there forever. And it got brought up, and you're about to be a host on a show that millions, it's a diverse group of people watch. We can't have you representing the brand right now. He's still doing work. He's still booming. You're going to lose a few things right now.
But they wanted an apology. They said, if you come out and if you jump through our hoops.
You should apologize. If I offend somebody, I'm going to fucking apologize. That's what you should. That's like all ego to me. Like if I offend a group, and I'm going to say this especially to, you know, a lot of my black people, because I'm just like, we want people to apologize to us, but we don't want to sometimes apologize to other groups. And you have to. Even if you know, that fly. Even if you don't agree with, you know, whatever your thoughts are on certain things, like, you know, just be a good human. And if you did really, you know, make a certain group feel a certain way, why not be a good human? And be like, yo, you know what? I I probably got fans that are a part of this group. Why would I want to like make them feel this way? Like, I don't know. To me,
like Nick Cannon. So Nick Cannon, what's the story with Nick Cannon? What did he do? He was canceled.
I mean, he wasn't truly canceled because his show's back on.
Wildin' Out. Wildin' Out got back on.
Wildin' Out. I might be one of the only people that don't give a shit about that show. It was always on MTV. That and some ridiculousness or whatever the fuck it's called. I'm like, why are these stupid shows on? I mean, but a lot of people love them, so I guess that's why they're playing. But yeah, with Nick Cannon, you know, he made remarks about the Jewish community, and I know
with Hollywood
Hollywood's ran by a lot of you know, Jewish people. And it was saying that, you know, the Jewish people aren't really Jewish, and like, you know, there's a lot of parts of like history that are erased, and there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't know. Like, there are a certain group of Africans that are considered, like Ethiopians and stuff like that. There's a lot of Jews there. There's a whole long story that goes back into that. So yes, are there black Jews? Yes. Do they go way back? Yes. But that doesn't mean that these people aren't Jewish as well. It's also something you can convert to. You don't want to say anything that, like, I think too, with a lot of like the black community, sometimes when they see Jewish people, because they have a certain idea in their mind, I think they see a lot of like the Jared Kushner. They see a white person, they're like, that's not a real Jewish person. So I don't know. There's really, AIDS came about, and they're like, these are white people. They're not. You know, colonization happened. A lot of stuff happened. You know, Jewish people look like all above the board. There could be Middle Eastern, black, white, this, that, whatever. You can convert to to be Jewish. So I think like some of the stuff he said was ignorant, and he did sit with a rabbi and had a great discussion with him on his podcast.
Oh, good.
He sat with him and had a discussion, because you don't want to say something like, honestly, I get it. You're going down a rabbit hole of all this information, but when you're reading something, read something that contradicts it too, and then kind of listen to your intuition from there. Because I know where he's getting his information, but also look into the people that like their Bibles and their shit too, and like, you know.
Well, Nick's always on, you know, trying to. I think he's always trying to better people, you know, and so he needs to
do more research before he talks.
Yeah, he needs to own responsibility for what he's saying, but because people listen to him, people follow him.
Yeah.
And so it's a good thing.
Well, and you don't want to say anything that, like, I mean,
it's bad for anybody.
It was offensive. Like, I'm
not sure exactly what he said.
I mean, he was basically saying that the people that are saying they're Jewish now are not Jewish people. Like, you know, black people are the only Jewish people. The original Hebrew, yeah. And
Asiatic Hebrew, yeah.
And also it's something you can convert to. So you also have to consider that. But colonization happened all over the world. All over the fucking world. So you're going to see lighter people or this and that and whatever. So I just think, you know, you have to do your research. Look at where you're looking at. Look at things that contradict it. Use your common sense. Use your intuition. You know what I mean? And yeah, when you say stuff like that and you have a big platform, and obviously, yeah, there are a lot of Jewish people in the Hollywood space. So yeah, they're gonna take offense to that. But what I do like is that I felt like Nick sat with him. He kind of learned from it. He grew from it, and then after he had that great conversation, Wild Out is back.
Yeah, so he rectified his mistakes,
but a lot of people won't do that. So that I do like, and it's not saying that are there black Jewish people? Yes, there are tons. There are. Ethiopia is one of the places where it talks. I forget which Bible this is in. For maybe it's the Torah, but it talks about, you know, Judaism being in Ethiopia, and they're wondering how it gets there. And then they talk about Queen Sheba and her going to Solomon. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there like that talks about Africa and stuff like that. And I think that there's a lot of trauma in the black community. So I get how these groups form, and there's a lot of lost identity because, you know, you have people here that are walking around even with their slave owner's last name. I mean, like I was when I was in college, I'm not gonna say what my last name is, but my last name, like there was a like this white guy in my class with the same last name, but from a certain part of the world, and it's like that's probably like his family probably owns somebody in my, you know what I mean, and that's how that kind of happens. So you just have a lot of people like I always say, have patience also with communities that have experienced a lot of trauma, especially when you look at the Black community. There's a lot of like lost identity there, and trying to figure it out. And I think Nick did a good thing by just doing some more research, and he's probably going to continue to do stuff, and his mind will expand. And
well, in order to not get canceled, you also got to know your audience too. There's a guy, Professor Griff from Public Enemy. He does podcasts and shows all the time, but he says the same thing that Nick's saying all the time. But his audience is tailored. His audience already knows because he was the Public Enemy from the jump, and he's basically like a Farrakhan, and he's doing his thing. He's saying what he feels, and he gets away with saying stuff that Nick Cannon says, but Nick Cannon's Nickelodeon. He's America's Got Talent.
He's like a mainstream star.
He's a mainstream star.
But even still, some of these non-mainstream stars, because of like what's going on in our world, a lot of them have been getting shut down on social media. Like the guy you just named, something with an F, that I think it's a black
Minister Farrakhan. Yeah.
Him, and then the KKK guy, David Duke or whatever the fuck his name was. They both got their shit shut down, like their pages. So a lot of people saying what they want. A lot of people are like, hey, not on this platform anymore. Fucking create your own hate page and do all that, because I don't think it's okay to say I think I belong to this group or whatever, but you also don't want to erase somebody else and down and talk. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to be like, no, I think this, and I think there is some truth in it. I think I do belong to this, and I think, there's a page missing from this book. But to just be like, nah, this isn't true, stuff like that, it's dangerous rhetoric when you have a big following. And if you're trying to have a big following, you have to, there's going to be consequences if you're,
You're on the big stage. You have a responsibility.
Yeah, for sure.
But, okay, so what about Ellen? Did she deserve to be canceled, or cancel culture part of this move?
I mean, I hate that word. She got fired. Don't a lot of people get fired from a job? Her job is to be popular on stage. If you're losing your popularity, you got to get a new host. And that's just
true.
So, it's not that I don't like Ellen. I'm not like, fuck her. Like, she's, a lot of humans are power hungry. You give us a little bit of power. I mean, you see it in experiments. You even see with animals. Whoever's King Tut just goes, completely maniac on everybody. So she probably did do that a few times and caused a lot of bad blood and lost her popularity. And now it's like, all right, you've been doing this for fucking how long? Your time has come. Eventually you got to step down or kind of, it was great that she got the show when she did, because that was when somebody like her usually wouldn't get that opportunity.
Yeah,
so it's great, but now it's time for somebody else. So, she kind of, is getting on people's nerves now. The lady's rich. Do I feel bad for you? No. Go home and get on your boat and fucking float around. She's got a mansion. She's got a hot wife and a mansion. She's not going to the unemployment line. You know what I mean? Do I feel bad for her? No. She got fired. Welcome to the real world.
That's true.
We all live in it.
It's like, okay, so then there's Louis C.K. The story with Louis C.K. So he was, was at some interview or something and pulled his dick out and started jerking off.
Oh, well, what do you think?
I think that's inappropriate.
Yeah. Come on.
Unless she says, hey, can you give me a show or call the madam?
Was this like live?
No, it was just in a, like a casting couch type situation.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, completely inappropriate. Come on. Like, maybe is something wrong with him? Does he have a mental health issue?
He's actually brilliant. I think
oh God, you love to use that word for people.
I think that word is a brilliant comedian.
Oh God, yeah, but everybody's not. Let's stop telling people who are almost like needing to feel like godlike that they're brilliant, because that's why they do these things. They're like, I can whip my dick out. Who gonna stop me? Like,
he's from
no.
Massachusetts. People from Massachusetts are brilliant.
Fuck. I don't know. I'm from Massachusetts. I ain't brilliant in every sense of the. There's certain things I'm great at, though. Yes, but I do not. When you think you're brilliant, you become a jack of all trades. But people start to feel like they can do whatever they want, in my opinion, when we start like giving them these terms, and they almost think they're like God. Like, it's a dangerous thing, because let me tell you, even me, I'm like that. I'm human, and everybody starts like telling me I'm brilliant all the time, and like,
then the head gets
I didn't grow up in a household like that. My household was kind of tough. Like, everybody's like, not good enough. I could have all A's. So I kind of grew up a little different. But maybe the universe needed that, because I probably would be walking around here like that guy. Like, I could do whatever the fuck I want. It's kind
Checks
of like,
and balances.
Yeah. There we go. Human beings, we need it.
One that, I understand, everybody, our culture gets offended so easily, these taboo subjects. We got to be politically correct. I get that. But one cancel culture that I'm pro, is actually somebody who's a hero, which, when your hero lets you down, it hurts more. But a guy, his name is Africa Bambaataa, and he was the leader of the Zulu Nation, and he made, he was one of the forefathers of hip hop, and he really pushed the culture, really made a movement, and then you find out these allegations with young boys, and that was heartbreaking for me, because it's somebody that you look up to in the music world. He's somebody, okay, this is one of the gods, this is one of the forefathers, this is one of the founding fathers of hip hop, and he is still, I think there's still open cases against him now, and as much as he contributed to the culture, you have to say, whoa. I can't support that.
Yeah.
So in that instance, it's, to me, the cancel culture is imperative.
Well, yeah. But once again, a lot of these other people you're talking about, they're not canceled. They're just having consequences. He probably is, and he should probably be in jail. It's the same with like R. Kelly. It's like R. Kelly. Like,
he's canceled.
I mean, he's disgusting. I mean, he's been disgusting, but nobody wanted to call him out. And I think also a hard thing is, like, in the black community, there's not a lot of, like men that are, like, kind of, like, looked up to. So when they do something, a lot of people want to just kind of ignore it, because we don't want...
Well, people did
it with OJ for so long. And I'm like, yo, OJ is... Stop. He is guilty. Like, I mean, the man's a complete lunatic. He's a cancer, and I think cancer men are psychopaths. I'm sorry if there's any cancer men listening. I think they're complete crazy, because, I think men aren't taught to, like, embrace emotions, and cancer's a very emotional sign. So I think because our society teaches men not to do that, I think they don't know how to handle shit. So I can definitely see that man going into a rage. And then when he wrote the book, like, I think... if I killed my wife, this is how I would do it. Just stuff like, you didn't know he did that?
No. Well, I read the Bergliosi book. I
was like, yo, this is...
one of the lawyers that was originally on the case, and it was very interesting, very, very telling, very interesting.
But he can project those emotions so good, and he's so likable and manipulative.
Oh, he was charismatic.
And black people just were supporting him. And I was just like, when you watch stuff on OJ, he's like, I ain't black. He didn't even want to be associated with black people at a certain point. Mm-hmm. And so it was so funny, though, because that's how when black people are when somebody crosses over. Because of everything that's happened, when they make it, they want to support regardless, especially a black man. Because if a woman said that, everybody would cancel black women in the community if she was like, I ain't black. I'm fucking Oprah. People would be like, fuck you. Like, but OJ, of course, he's a black man. We're going to give that a pass and let him scoot on by, even though he murdered this woman and the innocent guy. That poor young guy, he was like 20. Golden. Yeah, he was 20. He was like, yo, this hot blonde is hitting on me, this older woman, I'm about to get some. I'm going to her house. This is in Brentwood. She's rich too, probably going to be my sugar mama. He worked as a waitress, only to get massively beat down by OJ. Poor thing.
Allegedly.
Oh, God.
We don't know if the juice was... We don't know if the Jews did it or not.
Oh, God. Yeah.
But he was canceled, right?
No,
was he embraced?
no. Everybody, remember when he got out? Everybody was like, they were clapping. Like, all the black people were like, it's a win.
Because he's a hero.
Well, no, it wasn't that.
And
I think, and Johnny Cochran, he was a fucking big guy. That was one guy, if he was still alive, I'd want to meet him. He was so good at his job. And the funny thing is, OJ didn't even want him because he was black. OJ didn't want, and this is once again, but all the black communities all rallying behind OJ. He didn't even want Johnny Cochran, and Johnny Cochran's thing was to use race, and he was so fucking smart, and he got all those. He made sure he had a jury of mostly black because he knew black women would not convict a black man. Especially for killing a white woman. Yeah,
not at that time too, because the riots had just happened.
But the thing, he turned down Johnny Cochran so many times, and he hired that other guy who was like
Kardashian.
No. Kardashian was just his best friend, and he was a part of the team, but he was an entertainment lawyer. There was another lawyer who was like, he was very popular. He might be a Jewish guy. He was very, very popular, but he was known for settling. He would settle stuff out of court. He would work with a lot of rich people, so they would do a payout or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was struggling with that. And Johnny Cochran came in and fucking, saved the fucking day. But
if the glove don't fit,
he was
you must
so
have quit.
Because that I rewatched the thing because FX redid they did, and Cuban Gooding Jr. played him.
Oh yeah.
On FX and fantastic. Oh yeah, they did a great job.
And even your buddy Travolta was in it.
Oh God, he was playing the.
Was he canceled?
He was playing the lawyer.
Was he canceled for the hand job that he got off of the masseuse? Masseur?
He got backlash for that, and he definitely probably lost some shit.
I heard.
But why would you? It's a grown ass woman. Yeah, you're gonna.
No.
Oh, it was a kid?
It was a dude.
Oh, it was a dude?
Yeah.
I mean, but why would? I mean, what are we?
I don't know.
I remember. Gay bashing? Like, no. Why would he be?
I remember. I mean,
that they're gonna be like, yo, that's prostitution and all this other stuff. Yes, you're gonna probably lose some endorsements, get some bashing for that, but like, you're not gonna
Grease Lightning.
I was a big fan of Grease growing up. I knew all the songs. I knew all the moves. It was my thing.
Yeah. Tell me more.
So I was a big fan of him, but he's a tad bit
he's Italian.
He's a tad bit odd he's in Scientology and like stuff like that.
That's a different world too. They talk about him killing his kid. They thought they had that conspiracy.
Yeah,
maybe even there's a whole other world when you get into that. Okay, so last question of the day. And this is an important one. What is the craziest place, or where is the craziest place that you've engaged in intercourse?
You go first on that.
Me?
Yeah. Okay. You go first. I need to think.
Okay, I'll tell you, but I'm going to tell you reluctantly because I don't know if it's illegal. But
hope the feds aren't listening.
So when I was going to CSUN, Cal State Northridge, I probably shouldn't have said their name, but I'm a proud alumni of the Matadors, and so I was in love, and so it was very consensual, but there was a building that had like a huge aviary section, and on the rooftop I knew how to get access to the rooftop. So
okay.
we used to do rendezvous meet me at the rooftop, and so we'd be up there. I might have her bent over, and I could see students walking by, and
there was no cameras up there probably during this time, because I think in schools now you cross over to those rooftops, there's surveillance. Like,
I'm not that old. I graduated in 2009, but maybe there's footage. Maybe there's footage out there. But that was the spot, man. That was a crazy spot. I mean, Shock G got busy in a Burger King bathroom.
That's so disgusting. Like, one thing that freaks me out is restrooms. And in especially public restrooms, there's no way in hell. Like there's not enough. Maybe if I'm at the Ritz, you know, like, and then yeah, and maybe in that bathroom, sure, but yeah, probably not. That's not gonna happen.
Okay, but you're dodging the question, Jazz.
Because you know what, I don't really have anything too exciting. I think like I've had sex in cars. I've hooked up like when I was like 18, so living at home, like on the couch when like everybody's asleep. Like I guess that's pretty.
You let some dude in.
I mean,
came in through the window.
My mom loved my boyfriends. I have great taste in like, well, no, I don't. I didn't have great taste in men there, but my mom always, for some reason, loved my boyfriend. She's always like, "You're so sweet." She was just so obsessed with anybody I dated. So it wasn't hard for me to have somebody come over and then we'd be playing like we're just watching TV, you know, and then you know. Lord knows what
you haven't given me any juice here. This doesn't seem.
You know what?
Couch, car. That's every day.
I don't have anything like epic though yet. I mean, I guess maybe that has to be a goal of this year. I mean, when I was in the car, it's been like in pretty public places, but and I think I've once like on the beach, but it was so late. There was nobody out there.
Beach doesn't work always. It's
yeah, I haven't made it to the Mile High Club, so yeah, that would probably happen. But it'd probably have to be like a private plane because the bathrooms in the planes, like, I mean, I don't even understand how you men do it. Like, there's pee everywhere. I'm just like, I just can't do it. I have like, I have a mild bit of OCD, so I can't do stuff like that. But I do want to make it to the Mile High Club, so maybe that's in my future. That'll be my next story. But yeah, nothing.
Come on, dig in there.
I can't think of anything.
You're holding back.
No, I can't. You know what? There might. We're gonna have to save that for next time because I have to.
No. You're in a club in Louisiana.
First of all,
you were in the Himalayas.
No,
you were in Himalayas.
Louisiana. Gross.
With a Sherpa.
With a what?
The Sherpa, the guides that help you up the mountain.
No, I'm not. I think because I'm so off the walls to people and my personality is so dynamic, people expect me sometimes to just always have the craziest things to say. Sometimes I do. But yeah.
Like where did they shoot the Blair Witch Project? I could see you out in the forest.
I think that was in Salem.
It was in Massachusetts. I know it was. I could see you out in the forest in Massachusetts.
I was just there in June. I was just there, but no sex. But the guy I went to go see, he's a medium, and it's so funny because
a medium where he speaks with.
Yeah, he's a high up priestess in Santeria. He's a medium though, but he
speaks with the beyond, with
yes,
people beyond the
and
veil.
He's so funny because he did come to. My dad was bringing me to his. My dad didn't know where he was taking me. My dad's a Virgo. He doesn't really ask questions. And, like, I'm like, I just need to go somewhere for, like, 30, 40 minutes. And my dad's like, okay, like, so he drives me to Salem. And I'm texting Jow, and I'm like, I'm outside. And I'm about to come around the corner. And he's waiting on the patio in, like, briefs, tight, short briefs. And his, like, just, you can just see a huge dick and balls in print. And he's in, like, this little top. And I could just, my dad looked at me and I was just like, okay, I'll be right back. And I was like, yo, my dad's probably like, and I came into the house and I was like, hey, Jow. And then he's like, how you doing, God? He's Caribbean. And I was like, I just told my dad he's going to wait. I told him I'd be in here for like 30, 40 minutes. And he goes, oh my God, what is he going to think you're doing in here?
Yeah.
So that was a pretty funny story, but nothing.
You never hooked up. You said he had a huge package and you never hooked up with him.
No, you know what? I think he might be.
I don't believe it.
I think he's actually gay. No, I didn't. I actually was in a. He's my medium. He's just a really cool guy. And like, no, I don't really do like just one and doneers. Anyways, it's not. It doesn't really do anything for me mentally. It bores me. There's nothing interesting about that for me. But.
I'm very monogamous myself.
Yeah, I'm like, there's no story there. I'm just like, oh, okay. So I don't really do this. But that was a funny story.
Yeah, your dad must have been like.
My dad didn't even say anything when I got back in the car. He was just like, all right, so you ready to go back to Brockton? I was like, yeah. I'm like, if I was the parent, I'd be like, who the fuck is that? You know, my dad is so like, he doesn't like to be asked questions, so he won't ask any. It's like that kind of vibe. So yeah.
I would have been suspicious. He's got a big unit. My daughter goes in there for a half hour. I don't know what they call it, but yeah, I would be very, very reluctant to let my daughter go in there.
Well, yeah, my dad's not that kind of dad. He's never gonna ask me questions about who I'm dating.
Well, he trusts you then. That's good.
No, he just doesn't want to be asked questions in return. That's it. He doesn't trust me, so he doesn't even like my decisions. He's like, stop being so picky before you end up alone. Like, you know, make comments like that, but he won't go too much into like, you know. I don't think my dad thinks I'm like he thinks I'm like an interesting human being, but he really admires me, but he thinks I'm weird.
That's all right. I think it's always a generational thing like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, next time I'll think on that, and or I'm just gonna have to act on that, and I'll have a good story for it.
Oh, that's
maybe
right.
Next time.
That's right. Don't do it in public. There's charges.
Yeah, no, that's not happening, because I do know that I think there was a friend of mine telling me that somebody she knew had to register as a sex offender for getting caught having sex in public. Because I guess they were within a school area.
Yep.
And I was like, shut the fuck up. So you're on the pedophile list now?
Yep. They have to register everywhere they go, in every neighborhood they live in.
And I was like, no. I'm like super, like the thing is, when I'm like hooking up, I want my brain to be off too. I don't want to be paranoid. I mean, I guess if I'm wasted, maybe I wouldn't be overthinking. But like, yeah, I don't want to be having that like being just in my head, like shit, you know what I mean? I don't want to.
Some people get off on that though. Some people have a thrill of adrenaline,
and then that thrill can lead you on the pedophile list. So there you go.
Don't do it.
Don't
do drugs. Don't do fentanyl, and don't have public sex.
Well, people are gonna do drugs. Let's not give the dare message. I know y'all gonna do it, but be safe, be smart, know your dealer, threaten your dealer, tell him, look, man, I told my family where I got this. Is this shit laced? No. You know what I mean? Just do what you need to do and just be smart.
That's right.
Because it's dangerous out there now. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. They're doing all kinds of crazy drugs now.
For sure. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up there. So until next time, and catch your favorite creators on ItsMii.com. It's your girl, Jasmine.
That's right. We're unlocked.